Having my spine a little bit more over the golf ball, coming down, striking the ball first and almost hitting the ground after the ball, which led to high strikes out the face. Okay everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Jay Kelly and I'm based here at West Kent Golf Club. And in today's video, I was discussing with an online student exactly how they should be addressing their driver and why they were hitting too much down into the driver and not getting much launch. So a couple of simple setup ideas and looking at where the pelvis and spine sat really helped them hit up on the ball more, strike it better and produce a little draw. So let's get into it. Thank you again for sending me in your videos for review. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about how you should be addressing the driver and why you were really struggling to launch the driver. And for me, a lot of that was down to your address position. So the first thing I would say is that with your address position, you had your spine leaning a little bit too far to the left. So we had our pelvis pushed back slightly. And as I pushed the pelvis back, and leave my head where it is, you can see how my spine would now be tilted more to the left. If I was to push my hips more forward, you can see, and keep my head where it is, you can see now my spine is tilted more to the right. And I think there needs to be a fair blend of that setup. So I would say that we need the ball positioned just inside the left heel, and the driver goes down just behind it. Now, as I push my pelvis a couple of degrees forward, and my spine a couple of degrees back, I can now see that my spine is tilted 5-10 degrees, maybe a touch more to the right. Now with my spine tilted in that manner, my shoulders are now slightly elevated and my head is marginally behind the ball, meaning as I come down into the ball, my driver is likely to bottom out slightly early and then catch the ball on the rise, opposed to having my spine a little bit more over the golf ball, coming down, striking the ball first and almost hitting the ground after the ball, which led to high strikes out the face. Whereas to lower the strike out the face, we need to hit it slightly more on the up. So having our ball position up, feet or outside of the ankles, just outside of shoulder width, will give a nice solid base, and then feeling like the pelvis pushes marginally forward. Now, when the pelvis pushes marginally forward for you, I had no problems in it feeling like it was forward and a little bit more closed. I think quite a common one as well is when the spine sits too far forward, that can also make the shoulders point left. And that could be another reason why we were steep and chopping across it, rather than having more side bend or more tilt to the right. Actually makes me feel like my right shoulder is a little lower and almost pushed back a little bit, which makes me again feel like I'm going to swing it slightly more around myself and hit more up and to the right. So setup has a huge influence on how we strike, launch the ball and the direction that we physically move in. So I hope you found that helpful and I'll see you soon. So I hope that video made perfect sense, and the only thing I really wanted to add on to that video is a little bit more around weight distribution and where that should be. And something I should have definitely added to this student was, at address, I want to see the weight around 50-50. A common thing that I see on the flip side of it is where people try and elevate their shoulders and they understand that it should be in the air. What they do is they keep their legs where they are, and they tip the spine to the right. Now what I can see here is my spine is over my right leg, and I can certainly feel like a lot of weight is on my right leg here. And a lot of guys then struggle to transfer their weight, or what we would tend to see is if there's too much weight on the trail side, they will end up just pivoting around that back leg and sometimes chopping across it. So what I would have said is, as you push the pelvis slightly forward, that's what pushes the pressure slightly left, and as my head goes backwards, I'm still now 50-50. The way I like to describe it is, think of some kitchen scales where we're trying to equalize the weight. That's exactly what happens here. As I push my pelvis slightly forward, I put a bit of pressure forward and a bit of weight forward, and as my head goes back, that balances out the scale. So I would still say with driver that it needs to be a 50-50 address position. So I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope there were many things in there that you can take away from it, and I hope to see you all soon.